Hi students, welcome back. See, already we discussed what is the meaning of acid, what is the meaning of bases. Example for different definitions like Lewis acid, Arrhenius acid, Bronsted acid, etc. Now see, NaCl is there. We call that it is an electrolyte. In the solid state, no conductivity will be there, but when dissolved in water or when it is converted into the molten state, they start conducting. Means how they conduct? Because they ionize in the aqueous solution to give Na plus and the Cl minus. Because of this, they conduct electricity. Or they will ionize in the molten state also to give Na plus and the Cl minus. That's why it's an electrolyte. Same thing happens here. CH3 COOH. This ionizes in solution to give CH3 COO minus ion and the H plus ion. But here almost near to 100% ionization takes place. Here very less ionization, partial ionization takes place. That's why this is called as weak electrolyte. Partial ionization will be there. Whereas this or this, both are same only. On molten state and aqueous solution is called as the strong electrolyte. Already mentioned this one. Sodium hydroxide gives Na plus and the OH minus, but almost 100% ionization is there. So strong electrolyte. NH4OH aqueous they ionizes to give NH4 plus OH minus, but only partial ionization is there. So it's a weak electrolyte. And giving like this ion, that is called ionization also. COOH, COOH. This is oxalic acid. When dissolved in water, what happens? They start giving COO minus ion, which is called as oxalato ion. Oxalato ion along with 2H plus ion. And like this, the molecule converted ion, we call it as ionization or also known as dissociation. Ionization or dissociation process. Oxalic acid dissociate into oxalato ion along with the H plus ion. Or oxalic acid ionizes into oxalato ion and the H plus ion. And for this ionization process, there is a Arrhenius ionic theory also, or Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation is there. Sometimes they may say among this which is not true according to the Arrhenius theory of electrolytes. And Arrhenius acid, Arrhenius base is different concept. Your Arrhenius theory of electrolytic dissociation. Now, see ionic theory of electrolytic dissociation. What it gives? There are few postulates in this. What is said by the Arrhenius? Actually, no. when this Arrhenius was a student, he took this paper of his theory to his lecturer, and his lecturer got angry with this fellow, just started bombarding on him without listening to him, because Arrhenius was saying something which was not known that time. So his teacher, his lecturer was not willing to accept what the Arrhenius said. Just he threw that papers outside. But remember, now we are studying that one. Actually what he thought was correct only. But his lecturer was not willing to accept what the Arrhenius said. Okay? Now, Cl. What is happening here? NaCl, when put into the water, it becomes aqueous NaCl. And remember, when the electrolyte is there, dissolve in water, they spontaneously ionizes. What is the meaning of spontaneous process? A process which will happen without any external support or aid. That is called as a spontaneous process. You take the water, to that add the NaCl, no need to do anything. They immediately start giving Na plus and the Cl minus ion. Whereas non-spontaneous process will not happen if something external support is not there. What is? So the process which occurs without any other external aids, that is the spontaneous process. If it requires external support or aid, then it is called as a non-spontaneous process. And again, there is a spontaneous process which needs certain initiation. Then it becomes the spontaneous. Say, I have a matchbox, I have a candle. Can I lit that candle? No. First I have to use the matchbox, then I can have that candle burning continuously. Means initially it needs some start, but once started, they will continue to burn over there. The candle continues to burn over there, so it is a spontaneous process, burning of the candle. But it needs certain initiation. Now, take the zinc and add to the dilute sulfuric acid. Zinc plus dilute sulfuric acid gives zinc sulfate aqueous plus dihydrogen gas. You just take the zinc metal, add to the dilute sulfuric acid, spontaneously the reaction takes place and dihydrogen gas also comes out. It is a spontaneous process. Whereas copper, you add to the dilute sulfuric acid. That's the dilute only. No reaction takes place. Means spontaneously they are not giving copper sulfate and the dihydrogen. It's a non-spontaneous, whereas this is spontaneous process. NaCl, when dissolved in water, they spontaneously gives Na plus and Cl minus. So this only the Arrhenius agreed in a sentence. What is said? Electrolytes, when dissolved in water, spontaneously dissociate or ionizes to give cation and anions. This is the first postulate, or I can say to give, or I can say to give constituent ions. This is the first postulate. So electrolyte, when dissolved in water, spontaneously ionizes without any external support to give the constituent ions, which is cation and anions. Here, NaCl gives Na plus and Cl minus. HCl aqueous reduce H plus and Cl minus ion. Like this. Sodium hydroxide gives Na plus and OH minus. Our aqueous. This is the first postulate. Now next one is here CH3COOH, which is acetic acid. When dissolved in water, they start ionizing. Gives CH3COO minus as well as H plus. See, especially for the weak electrolyte, ionization is reversible in nature. Means acetic acid ionizes to give CH3O minus and H plus ion, acetate ion and the hydrogen ion, but they again combines back and gives acetic acid. And remember you, in the weak electrolyte, this is the weak electrolyte, majority of the acetic acid remains as non-ionized. Only few molecules will go into acetate and H plus ion. So, in case of an electrolyte, the ionization is reversible, and there exists equilibrium between non-ionized molecule and the ions. Ionization or dissociation of a weak electrolyte is reversible and there exists equilibrium between non-ionized molecule and ions. Now, this is the second postulate. Third one. What will happen to the ionization when we dilute it? Already said, NaCl is an electrolyte, but in the solid state, no conductivity will be there because they are fixed to the lattice crystal. But when you add in the water is a polar solvent, so it removes the Na plus or the Cl minus ions. And if the water is more and more, what do you call? We are diluting the solution. We are diluting it because when the water is more and more, concentration becomes lesser and lesser. Means you are diluting the solution. And what can happen to the ionization? Whether the ionization will increase with the dilution or the ionization decrease with the dilution. See, Na plus fix CO. See, Na plus fix CO, Cl minus fix CO. Now, water. Negative end of the water is removing it. Positive end of the water is removing it. When the more and more water is there, what will happen then? More and more Na plus or the Cl minus can be removed from the lattice crystal. Means ionization increases with the dilution. So ionization increases with dilution. This is another postulate of Arrhenius theory. C. CaCl2 gives Ca2 plus 2Cl minus. And remember, I cannot have Ca2 plus Cl minus like this. Total number of charges on the cation and the charges on the anion should be equal to each other. See, cation charge is plus 2, anion charge is minus 1 here. That is not balanced. Whereas here, cation is 2 plus, anion is minus 1, but there are 2. So 2 into minus 1 is minus 2. Means total charges on the cation and the anion are always equal to each other, and the molecule is electrically neutral in nature. Total charges on cation and anion are equal to each other, and molecule is electrically neutral. Note this. So NaCl, then Ne plus Cl minus, this is wrong. If one Cl minus is there, sorry. If one Cl minus is there, one Na plus 2 is there. MgCl2. So if I have 2 Cl minus, I cannot have a 2 Mg plus because Mg is having a 2 plus charge only. 3 yes 2 electrons can be lost easily, and plus 2 will be charge formed. So plus 2 2 into minus 1 minus 2. I am not saying that they have the same number of ions. Remember this fact. I did not say that. I said total charges on the cation and the anion are equal to each other, and the molecule is as a whole electrically neutral. Please note it properly. I never said number of atoms are same. You see, only one magnesium, whereas 2 chloride ions are there. Here one sodium, one chloride. Here okay. But it is not always. Always there is no question that cation and anion numbers are same, but their charges are equal to each other. Next one. C. CuNO3 2 times. This is of blue color. CuSO4 again blue color. CuCl2 blue color. See, in all this copper is common, whereas NO3, sulfate, Cl. And if you see, in all the cases, copper is in the plus 2 stage. Just to calculate the oxidation state of the copper, it is plus 2 only. And remember here, this anion is changing, but the cation is same, and they have the blue color only. Means ions are responsible for properties of the electrolyte. All the Cu2 plus compounds, they are blue in color. All the Zn2 plus compounds are colorless or white in nature. Or Fe3 plus or Fe2 plus compounds or of green color means totally ions are responsible for the properties of the electrolyte, because color is one of the property only. The ions are responsible for the property of the electrolyte. Note on this. And remember, this is the postulate given by Arrhenius. Now, next one is degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation, or also known as degree of ionization. And represented by the symbol alpha. See, I will take acid He. It's a weak acid, you see. Weak acid HALT. Dissolving water gives H plus and the A minus. As it gives H plus, it's an organic acid also. As it gives the proton, it's a bronzed acid also. So here, I will take 100 mole of HA. In that, 5 mole only gives H plus and A minus. Out of 100 mole, only the 5 mole gives H plus and A minus. Whereas 95 mole remains HA only. So, fraction of the total number of moles, fraction of the total number of moles which ionizes at equilibrium, that is called as degree of dissociation, alpha. I know that. Fraction of the number of moles which ionizes at equilibrium is known as alpha, or degree of dissociation. So how much it is here? Alpha in this example is from the 100 only 5 is going, so 100 by 5 is equal to 0.05. Or if the percentage is that multiply by 100, it is 5% ionization. I can write the degree of dissociation with the value only or with the percentage also. So, fraction from the total number of moles that is going to be dissociated at equilibrium, that is called as degree of dissociation alpha. HA, what I do is, I consider it as a strong acid now. Strong acid. What am I? Strong acid ionizes almost completely into H and A minus. So, if I take 100 moles of HA, almost 100 mole, if not 100, near to 100 mole get ionized into what into H plus and A minus. So what is the alpha value? Alpha is equal to 100 by 100 is equal to 1, or if the percentage is there, it is 100% of the multiple 100. Near to 1 will be there, the value, or near to 100% will be there, the ionization, if it is a strong electrolyte. But the weak electrolyte, partial ionization will be there, therefore they will not have the value of alpha as 1. They have the value very less than 1 also. See, now take this problem. 2 moles of HA is taken in which 0.2 mole of HA undergoes ionization to give H plus and A minus. Calculate the degree of ionization or degree of dissociation. How it is? What is it? HA is undergoing an dissociation or ionization to give H plus and A minus ion. Yes, mentioned already. Okay, this is the equation. So now see here. What are the moles present there? 2 mole was present in the beginning, and in that 0.2 is going as ions. So what is the definition? Alpha formula is, what is the formula for degree of dissociation? Alpha is equal to, note down this, number of moles ionized divided by number of divided by number of moles of electrolyte taken, or if the percentage needed, I have to multiply by 100. If no percentage required, this multiplication by 100 is not required. So alpha is equal to, see 2.2 moles are ionizing. So number of moles ionized is 0.2, and the total moles taken was 2 into 100. So what is it? 0.1. 100 into 0.1 is 10% ionization, or degree of ionization is 10%, or the mere value source is 0.1 also. 10% ionization will be there, or degree of dissociation will be 10%. Effective degree of dissociation or ionization. First one, see, already said, strong electrolyte almost 100% ionizes, weak electrolyte ionizes partially, means nature of the electrolyte, whether decide or not, definitely. So nature of the electrolyte. How to explain? Strong nature is that strong electrolyte completely ionizes, whereas weak electrolytes partially ionizes. So, nature of the electrolyte decides the degree of dissociation. Now see here, NaCl, when dissolved in water, they use Na plus and the Cl minus. Whereas NaCl dissolved in benzene, no ionization will be there. Means the ionization is decided by nature of the solvent also. For the ionization, I need the polar solvent like water. Benzene is non-polar. Ionization depends upon nature of solvent. Nature of the solvent is important. Means polar solvent is there, then the ionization will be there. Non-polar, no ionization will be there. Then degree of dissociation increases with the dilution. Already Arrhenius has mentioned that. Dilution factor, it is depending. Means more and more dilution, more and more ions. Then temperature also. Higher the temperature, more the ionization. They can ask me some among these which will affect the degree of dissociation or ionization. So all these factors affect that degree of dissociation or ionization. Is the presence of common ion. This factor I will explain in the next videos. Actually, when the common ions are present, there is a common ion effect also, and the degree of ionization gets suppressed also. You have lecture. What is the meaning of common ion effect? Its explanation. So I will explain in the other videos, not in this now. Just remember, presence of the common ion also affect the degree of dissociation. That much you remember this. See, I have a strong acids, list of some strong acids. SiO4, HCl, HBr, HI, HNO. What is conjugate base? Remove one H plus and I get a ClO4 minus ion. Here again we remove this, I get a Cl minus. Remove one H plus, I get a Br minus. Remove one H plus, I get a I minus. Remove one H plus, I get a NO3 minus. What I said? When the conjugate acid base theory is there, if the acid is stronger, its conjugate base is very weak. So these are all conjugate bases, and these are all weaker in nature. And remember, these conjugate bases are weaker than water also. These conjugate bases are weaker than the water. Now here NH2 minus, O2 minus, oxo ion, H minus ion, hydride ion. These are all strong bases. So it's a conjugate acid. What you do? Add one H plus. So NH2 and H, NH3. And minus 1 plus 1 cancel, no charges. Add 1 H plus. So OH minus 2 plus 1 minus 1. Then H minus, add 1 H plus. Then it is H2. Acid basis is a conjugate acid. NH2 minus, O2 minus or the H minus are stronger base than the water also. CH3, COOH is a weak acid. HNO2 is a weak acid. what they do? Gives CH3COO minus plus H plus. So this is a conjugate base of this acetic acid. And remember, as it is a weak acid, it is a strong base. If I write here water, I can write it as H plus H2 also, or H2 plus. HNO2, NO2 minus will be the conjugate base. As weak acid is that NO2 minus is a strong conjugate base. Remember this fact.